Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to talk about what are, in my opinion, some of the best items you can invest in right now in order to make a lot of profit in patch 10.1.5. As I'm sure many of you are already aware, in patch 10.1.5 you will be able to trade items with anyone from any other realms for free in your region. So it means that with that, you will have tons of new opportunities to make a lot of gold. And one really good opportunity right now is to simply buy some items that are really cheap on your realm or on other realms. And then, like that, you will be able in patch 10.1.5 to sell them on other realms for a big profit. And trust me, there are a lot of really good items that you can invest in at the moment. In order to do this list, what I've used in terms of information is, first of all, are these different items going to be easy to farm in patch 10.1.5? Are there a lot of them already available on the auction house? Because if you are investing in some items, for instance, items that are easily craftable or items that you can easily farm in dungeons and raids and everything and that have a really high drop rate, then these items are probably not going to get an increased value in patch 10.1.5, but probably they're going to have a lower value due to the number of people who are going to farm all these different items and then try to sell them on every other realms. So what I'm trying to do is target the different items that I know will probably remain the same, or at least will have an increase in value on most realms in patch 10.1.5 due to their rarity, due to the difficult way to get these different items. Sometimes it can also be locked behind some different time gating things. And also sometimes you just have unobtainable items and things like that that you know people won't be able to farm again and again and post on every single realm. Next to that, of course, I also took into consideration the sell rate, the value, and overall my experience selling some of these items. One thing I want to insist on before I start diving into this list is the fact that, of course, investing in this type of items and flipping items in general is always risky. It's very difficult to predict the future, especially with such a big change. So please, if you are trying to invest in some of these items, do it at your own risk. Try to do it if you have enough gold, and always remember that unfortunately sometimes you might end up losing some gold in the process. And as you can see, personally, I'm right now doing that on most realms. I'm really investing in a lot of all these different items. And even though I might lose a little bit of gold on some of these items, trust me, on most of them, I'm pretty sure I will be able to make a decent profit. Okay, let's start with some items that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and these are the Glorious leg plates and also the Bloodlust set. So these two transmog sets are from Vanilla WoW, and these are some of the best transmog sets from Vanilla WoW. So for these different items, I would not recommend you to invest in them if they're even like more than 2,000-3,000 gold a piece, simply because there are so many available and they're not that difficult to farm anymore. But on some realms, you can really find some for a ridiculous amount of gold, and so these are the type of items you want to buy. For instance, here for the Bloodlust breeches, as you can see, on some European realms, you can find them for easily 500 gold each. So definitely these are the type of items that I think you can easily flip. It's not a big investment. You're not taking a lot of risk, and most likely you will then be able to go on all these other realms and sell them for maybe 10, 15k gold profit on average. Here on US realms, as you can see, 99 gold for some of them, and again, you can easily buy them, and then when patch 10.1.5 will be released, you can sell them for maybe 8,000-9,000 gold on most realms. So definitely something you want to keep in mind. For the Glorious leg plates, as you can see on European realms, the cheapest usually is going to be around 2,000 gold. I wouldn't recommend you to invest in anything more than 3 or like 4,000 gold max, because as you can see, you will still be able to sell it on many realms, but probably the value overall is going to drop regionally. And for US realms, for this one, it's actually pretty expensive, so I would maybe not recommend to invest too much in these. But again, if you manage to find some that are extremely cheap before the release of patch 10.1.5, try to invest in them and hopefully you will be able to make a profit with them. Then after that, we're going to have all the different cosmetic items from Shadowlands and from Dragonflight. From Shadowlands, the ones you want to focus on are all the different shoulder cosmetic items, so all these epic BOEs. As you can see, some of them can really be sold for a lot of gold, and these are pretty rare. One thing that is important for you to do is when you check the value on your auction house, make sure to have TSM because some of them are easier to get, and so the value is very, very low compared to others. So make sure that if you want to invest in some of them, you are using the right regional value to then really buy only the cheap auctions. And then next to all these different shoulder pads, you also have all the different weapons and cosmetic armor pieces from Dragonflight. So here, as you can see, you have a lot of them as well. Again, here, very similar. Some of them are extremely easy to get, and so I would not recommend you to invest in them because the value overall is not going to change. But then some of them are definitely more interesting with sometimes a really, really low value on some realms and a really good regional value overall. So just go through all the different weapons. As you can see, you can go weapons, lower the eye level to 1. And here, sometimes you will really see some of these weapons for a ridiculous amount of gold, when overall, regionally, you can sell them for a big, big profit. Same, you also have like a few of the different cosmetic weapons from Shadowlands that can be also pretty interesting, especially the swords are pretty nice. And then keep in mind, you also have, of course, the same with the different cosmetic armor pieces from Dragonflight. So again, here, sometimes you will find some of them for a ridiculous amount of gold. And again, all you want to do is make sure to compare with the original value. And sometimes you also want to use Oribos Exchange. And like that, you will be able to see if right now you have something really interesting in front of you or if it's normal and probably it won't change in patch 10.1.5. But still, definitely something you want to have a look at because sometimes you might find some really, really good deals. After that, we're gonna have all the different formula illusions for enchanting from Dragonflight, especially the blue ones. These items are extremely good and I've been selling them even right now for up to 40, 50,000 gold a piece. So as you can see on many realms, you can find some for a ridiculous amount of gold. For instance, here 1,500. Here you have some for 75 gold. So what you want to do really is make sure to buy any of them. I would say anything below maybe like 4, 5,000 gold is a good investment on most realms. And again, after that, you can sell them on other realms when the patch will be released. And trust me, these are definitely going to sell well because people will want to learn and craft all these illusions to then sell them on every realm. So definitely you will be able to make a lot of gold. And this is the same on US realms. Even though it's a little bit more expensive, you can still sometimes manage to find some that are a little bit cheaper. Right now, probably someone already did that. And so there are none that are really interesting. But keep in mind that there's always new people getting some. And so you always want to have a look. When it comes to the epic one, the Illusion Primal Mastery, this one is a little more challenging. It's from the raid. Still, if you manage to find anything below, I would say 200,000 gold on European realms and below like 100,000 gold, 150,000 gold on US realms, that might be a good investment as well. Then after that, we have the Elegant Dress. This is a cosmetic item that has been removed from the game. So normally the value is only going to increase, especially in patch 10.1.5. This one, I would say anything below 7, 8k on European realms might be a good investment because as you can see on most realms, it's going to sell for 99, 100,000 gold. And then on US realms, you can really find it for a ridiculous like price. So for instance, on some realms, it's less than 1,000 gold. Here, as the overall value is not the best even on some realms, I would say anything below 2,000 gold might be still a good investment because keep in mind, these have been removed from the game, and so normally there's not going to have more and more supplies coming. Maybe some from the different banks of some people, but still people cannot farm more of these items. After that, we have the very famous Tabard of the Lightbringer. This is actually the only Tabard you can buy and sell on the auction house. This one, as you can see, 35,000 gold on European realms is the cheapest, and then you have a few for 50,000 gold. And then on US realms, it's the same, 50,000 gold. You have a few here. I would say for this one, anything below 60,000 gold is going to be a good investment because these are difficult to get. You need to do an entire quest line that takes at least 1.5 months to complete, and you can only do it once per character. So this is not something that people can farm again and again easily. And as you can see, the original value is really good. And also, these always sell really fast. So these ones, if you find anything below 60k, you might want to invest in these different tabards. Then after that, we have another cosmetic item that I've talked a lot. This is the formal Dangui. This one I would recommend to invest in any of the ones you find if it's less than 300,000 gold. As you can see right now on European Realms, there are only 63 available and their lowest price is 455, but there are always new people posting them for a really, really cheap price, as you can see here. So you will always be able to find sometimes some that are cheaper than that. On US Realms is 400,000 gold as well, and there's only 44 available. So this one is a good investment because it's very difficult to get again, and this is something that anyone can use. So you'll definitely find some people who will contact you and who will be able to buy it directly from any realm. So trust me, if you manage to get a few of these, you will normally be able to make a lot of gold. And again, this is, in my opinion, a safe investment, especially if you invest in these at less than 300,000 gold a piece, simply because people won't be able to get a lot of new ones like that. It's not that easy. Now, with all the new recipes and all the new items you will be able to craft in patch 10.1.5, some materials can be interesting to invest in right now, even though I would say it's a little bit late because most of them already had a big increase in value. Still, there are a few that I want to mention. The first one is, of course, the Essence of Undeath. So this one is definitely something that will be super important. And here I would say anything lower than 150 gold each, in my opinion, on European realms might be interesting. On North American realms, I'm not sure, but really keep in mind people are going to need a lot of these. And right now, because people have been farming a lot of them and they want to sell them, the value is not really high. But I'm pretty sure that as soon as we're going to be closer to patch 10.1.5, the value is going to skyrocket on these ones. Again, materials are very risky. You never know how many people have in their banks and everything. So this is really risky, but this is something personally I've been doing so far. I've been buying a lot of these different essences, and I really do believe that you will be able to either sell them for a better price in patch 10.1.5 or at least something closer to 150 a piece. Then you also have the different righteous orbs. So these ones just skyrocketed recently. As you can see, for instance, I sold some of them for 1,000 gold a piece. I would not recommend you to invest in them if they're not like lower than 400 gold a piece, even though as there's been a lot of news around this item, I'm not sure they will at some point before the patch reach 400 gold a piece again. But if they do, keep an eye on that, and probably this is going to be a safe investment. Even some people would recommend you to do it at like 500 or 600 gold each, but in my opinion, this is a little bit too risky. Then next to that, you also have the different ghost die. So the ghost die is something that I think is going to be really important as well. And definitely, again, people are going to need a lot of these. So that could be interesting. For this one, I would say anything below 100 gold or like maybe like 120, something like that would be interesting. And then when it comes to other interesting ones, I would say maybe the Fell Cloth could be good. Fell Cloth again, anything below like 130 gold, something like that each will be good. And finally, like the one that I think I can mention as well pretty safely is the Arcanite bar. Right now it's pretty expensive, but each time it reaches less than 100 gold a piece, this is when you might want to invest in some of them. Right now it's too expensive, so I would not recommend. After that, we're gonna add the Lionheart Executioner Reborn. This is a really good transmog item from Mist of Pandaria, and this is something that is pretty annoying to craft because you will need to wait 1 month in order to have all the different materials required to craft one of these weapons. One thing that I want to insist on is the fact that you want to invest in the Executioner one because as you can see, there are different versions and you really don't want to invest in the other one. So try to target the Executioner one. These ones, again, I don't think they're going to change a lot in terms of the original value because people cannot craft like dozens of them like that very easily. When it comes to the value, I would recommend you to invest in anything below for this one, 45 to like 50k gold, in my opinion, is a good investment. As you can see on some European realms, there are still some that are pretty cheap. And then on US realms, some of them are even at 23,000 gold. So again, anything below 50k gold for this weapon is, in my opinion, a good investment. And these sell pretty fast, so definitely something I would recommend you to have a look at. Then I want to mention the Plundered Blade of Northern Kings. This is something that you can get from the island expeditions. And this is a really nice sword. This one has a sell rate of 0.15 or something like that. So it's really, really good. You will be able to sell them super fast. For this one on European realms, I would say anything below 20,000 gold or like maybe 25 to 30,000 gold is going to be probably a good investment. And then on US realms, as you can see, it's a little bit more expensive, but the regional value is also better. So anything below 35,000 gold is probably going to be good. For this one, again, I don't think people are going to be able to get so many more of these because you need to run a lot of the different island expeditions. The bags that you need to buy are not always up, so sometimes you have to wait maybe a month before being able to buy some of the bags. And it takes quite a lot of time to get some of them. So I think this one, it's pretty safe to say that the value might maybe lower a little bit, but it's probably going to be pretty high still. And so definitely, in my opinion, a safe investment as well. After that, we have the Reins of the Crimson Deathcharger. This one is similar to the Tabard of the Lightbringer. This is one of the rewards for completing the quest for the legendary weapon in ICC. So it's not easy to farm and it definitely takes some time. For this one, I would say anything below 160, 170,000 gold is going to be pretty good. So as you can see, you have a few on European realms that are still pretty interesting. And on US realms, it's very similar. So again, I would say like here is a little bit more tricky, but these, for instance, are interesting. This one is, again, in my opinion, not so risky, but it's more of a big investment. So really up to you to see if you want to take the risk or not. Then we have the famous Goldmane's Reins. So this one is very special because a lot of people have been botting this farm, and so there has been a lot on the auction house for a very, very cheap price. As you can see, the cheaper on European realms is 100,000 gold, and the original value is 475,000 gold. I just sold one for 390,000 gold. So these ones, I would say anything below 100k, so all these different ones is a good investment. You don't have to buy all of them, maybe just buy a few, and then as you can see, you'll easily be able to sell them on one of these realms for at least 100k profit. And then on US realms, the cheapest is actually 30,000 gold on this realm. As you can see, someone is selling 35 of them with original sell rate value of 162,000 gold. So definitely here, these are things that you can invest in. And I would say that even anything below 50,000 gold might be interesting. Again, these are mounts. It costs a little bit more, but definitely, in my opinion, it's a safe investment and you will definitely be able to make your gold back in 10.1.5. And of course, here you can have a look at all the other BFA mounts. So for instance, the Reins of the Dune Scavenger is pretty interesting as well. On both realms, you also have, of course, the Terrified Pack Mule. And you also have the Tamed Bloodseeker. All these different mounts can be like farmed on the open air. So sometimes you will have a lot of them, but still, I think when they're extremely cheap like that, you will definitely be able to then sell them for a big profit. Now we have another weapon that is very similar to these different mounts. This is another BOE from BFA, and this is something that you can also farm in all these different farms that are open air. So here, anything below like 50,000 gold, in my opinion, on European realms is a good investment. And then on US realms, as you can see, it's 15,000 gold for the cheapest. So here, anything below like 30,000 gold, I would say, again, is a good investment as well. Then after that, we're going to have the very famous design for the elemental Lariat. So this one is from Dragonflight. Right now, there are none really interesting on either the European or North American region. But really keep an eye open for these different designs because these are really difficult to get. They still sell for more than 1 million gold. So for this one, I would say anything below like 700,000 gold. This is definitely something you will be able to sell for a better price later on in patch 10.1.5 on both realms. Again, there's almost none available on both regions, and these are very, very expensive. But very difficult to find at the same time. Here, as you can see, there was one for 75 gold, so you can still sometimes find some for a very cheap price. Then, very similar to that, we have the design for the ring-bound Hourglass. This one, I'm still selling it on most realms for 500,000 gold on average. And as you can see, there's only 109 available on European realms and 92 on US realms. For this one, I would say anything below like 300,000 gold is interesting on European realms, but realistically, if you really want to take the least risk possible, anything below 200,000 gold is a safe investment. And I would say it's pretty similar on North American realms. And again, on some realms, you'll be able to find sometimes some that are a little bit cheap. So manage to find a few, and normally you'll be able to make some profit with these as well. Then, of course, we're gonna have the black Tuxedo pants. This is another cosmetic item that has been removed from the game. This one is only getting an increased value, so definitely a good investment. For this one, I would say anything honestly below 10,000 gold, or like even sometimes I invest when it's like lower 20,000 gold, is a safe investment. And I'm still selling some of them for 250, like 300,000 gold. So you will be able to make a lot of profit if you manage to find some of them that are around this value. And again, on both regions, you will be able normally to find some pretty cheap auctions. So definitely something you want to have a look at, because these are items that sell fast and for a lot of gold. So for instance here, as you can see, that's a really good realm to invest in. After that, we're going to have all the different lovely dresses. Again, cosmetic items that have been removed from the game. You have the black, purple, blue, and red one, the best one being the black one. So here, I would say anything below like 35 or like, even 50,000 gold for these ones is a good deal. Unfortunately, a lot of people are already buying them, but there are always new ones popping up everywhere. So just make sure to be the one buying them, and hopefully you'll be able to then sell them for a big, big profit. And again, this is the same on European and North American realms. So you will then definitely be able to find some cheap auctions on both regions. And finally, we're gonna have the different dinner suits, similar to the different lovely dresses. These are cosmetic items that have been removed from the game. I've been talking about these items for like months, and I'm selling them right now on average for 500,000 gold each. So these ones, again, anything I would say below 150,000 gold is gonna be a good investment. But this is really up to you, because these are cosmetic items that can take a little bit of time to sell. But still, there are not a lot available, and keep in mind, these are again items that people cannot farm anymore. So the more people are buying these items, the less offer there is. And again, anything in my opinion below like 150,000 gold, at least on European realms, is going to be a good deal. I don't know the North American market for this one. So a little bit more tricky for me to say realistically what is risky or not risky. But here, from what I see, I can say anything below 100,000 gold on North American realms is probably going to be safe as well. And as you can see, I've been buying a lot of them on every single realm. So definitely you can trust me. These are good investments. So that's pretty much it. Of course, keep in mind there are tons of other good items that you might want to invest in. These are just the ones that, in my opinion, are pretty safe and that I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make some profit with. Also, always, I really want to insist on the fact that if you decide to flip some of these items, it's never guaranteed that you will actually be able to make a profit, or even sometimes sell them for the same price. So really keep that in mind. If you decide to do that, you just take the risk of maybe losing some gold. But again, it's also what's fun in World of Warcraft, and especially if you are into gold making and flipping, there's definitely an exciting patch to do that. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime, I wish you all a great start of the weekend. Bye!